like the Swedish melodic death metal. That's probably the only album I have on my list that's this style of music. But I thought they did it perfect. I couldn't ask for anything more. And then again, numerous listens throughout the year, many smiles, just.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Metal Maniacs Podcast. I'm Jay Ingersoll.
And I'm your boy, Modd.
What's up, dog?
I wasn't ready.
I
lied.
It's all good.
I lied. I got like 18 things on the table, looking unprofessional and unprepared.
It's all good,
hey, man.
How you doing today?
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, you know, the snowstorm.
Yeah, snowy activity, but we live in Michigan, so, you know, those are things we can't control, so it is what it is, you know?
We're an hour behind. It's fine. It's whatever. We're not going to banter too much.
Yeah, we won't banter too much. We'll get into this. So we started talking a little bit before the show, so we might as well just put that on the show. Talk about, like, these lists, right? This is one of my favorite episodes of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Takes a lot of work to kind of keep up on all these albums.
Yeah, which is why I bring up the snowstorm. I was like, I'm not going to miss it.
Right.
I'll drive through it.
Right.
Just give me a little extra time, but I can't miss today, dude.
Right.
I was like, nah, I put too much work into it. I listen to so much music. I'm so excited for it.
Hell yeah.
Like, I just, like, I'm like juggling. I'm like, where does it go on the list?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. And we said this last year, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to get right back to you, but I'm so excited about this. This is how I feel about it. Like any of these albums could be number one on any given day. It's just totally a mood situation. A lot of these things are different genres. It's not any one of these albums might not be for everyone, but they're for someone.
Yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
great. And I think that if you're a really eclectic fan of music and you like metal and other genres, there's going to be some stuff in there for you. And if you just want that straight, gritty, angry, banging riff after riff, I got albums like that too on the list, and I'm sure you do as well.
Absolutely. And I noticed that some of these two almost jumped on the list after a second listen. At first, it was just like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. But some of them that I took second and third listens, I was like, wait, this is way better, or was in a different mood or whatever. Yeah. So it's funny that you bring that up. And we talked about always, you're kind of like, did I do enough? Did I listen to enough? And it's hard because nowadays it's even hard to listen to some of these albums multiple times intentionally just because the next new thing is coming out, right? Just so much amazing music, so many badass fucking awesome albums this year.
Amen.
So it's kind of like overwhelming at times almost. Mm-hmm. And it is hard. Like I could have probably listened to 75 more, but it's just hard to onslaught the metal, like 4 albums a day type shit is just too much, dude. Like, sometimes I just need to listen to a pod at work or something in the background because sometimes these I wanted to give intentional listens.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and we'll do what we always do, so this will basically kind of be a two-parter. This first part is going to be our top 10. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go into another special episode, which will just be other things we listen to, comments, runners up probably, honorable mentions. Yep. And we'll probably talk about some locals in that episode as well. Maybe even some locals on this list. We'll see.
Also, to your point, as far as trying to listen to all of the albums, there were days where I didn't want to listen. I wasn't feeling adventurous. I didn't want to take on the task of an intentional listen of something new. And I just wanted to reach for one that came out a couple months ago, and it still bangs. And I still enjoy it. And that's some of those albums are on the list because I kept going back to them.
Right. And
now they had the luxury of being out earlier in the year, so you could go back to them. But there's also some things that I caught wind of late in the year that I was like, oh my God, if I had this in March, I'd have listened to it 20 times or more by now, because some of these things that just came out in October or what have you. Oh,
absolutely.
I was like, oh my God, I gotta bump something out. So there were some things, even as of yesterday, I'm looking at all the albums, and the honorable mentions category is amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's another top 10 list. The only thing is that when you get into like my top 10, is that you start looking at like, oh, that's my style, and those are the things that I like. Yeah. And I tried to be diverse with it, and so that not everything is the same style of music. I didn't just pick the same. Like, oh, everything's progressive death metal from Nick. Go figure. Yeah. I got several albums like that, but I've also got some things that are outside. But it was hard to go back to, or it was hard to always squeeze in the new music because I had to get some things in that I was like, I just want a easy selection. I'm in the mood for this one. I've been looking at that name.
Yep.
I've been wanting to revisit that album. Today's the day. So several of these got numerous spins, and that's why they're in this list.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes one that you just keep coming back to it over and over, and you're just like, this works. And there was some on here, and even yesterday. So at the end of this too, we'll read somebody's list and some of the local bands and stuff. I asked for some lists, so we'll read some at the end. But I was checking out some of stuff on their list, and even yesterday I was like, might not go on the top 10, but holy shit, this is some incredible stuff that I've never even heard before. Like so there's a few bands I want to talk about like that, but that'll probably be in the honorable mentions. But you ready to get into this, bro?
Let's do it.
All right. So you are going to start this as always, my man. So what do you got for number 10?
Yeah, so this one is wild, and it kicks the door right down. And I think this is a great album for anybody that likes fun music. And I'm sure you're going to be talking about this one as well. But I got to kick things off with the Callous Daoboys and I Don't Want to See You in Heaven. First of all, that album title is hard. Because we all know that person. Bitch, please don't be in heaven.
Yeah.
Because then I might be in hell. Like, what even is this? So right there, like that album title, everybody can relate to it. And I got a little blurb about it, and then I'll pass it back over to you. But I like to call it party metal.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. Like there's a couple of different things, but because it's so eclectic and diverse, and I want to be careful in how I use terminology because I don't want to turn people off, but it does bend genres quite a bit. It's not schizophrenic. I think they take a really good time. They take really good care of moving from one passage to the next. It's very deliberate. It's not abrupt and jilted. They're pretty suave with the songwriting, and I love how many different elements they give you. It's kind of like a Mr. Bungle meets an Ice Nine Kills, maybe some Vane FM. Very eclectic, musical, catchy, and overall fun. Entertaining album. Covers a lot of ground. I love the story that they kind of did with the samples in between. That was a great, just setting of a mood. You're in the present.
The failure or the museum of failure or whatever. They find the
lost artifact
of their music or whatever, and it says it's in the museum of failure. That's cool.
So that part alone gave it a very enjoyable quality. You can sit there and listen to this thing and try to guess where it's going and what the plot is, because there's this little subplot story going in, interweaving, between the tracks and such. But just pulled me right in. I didn't get hip to this thing right away. I know it had been lingering around, and I didn't jump right on it. And I knew it was going to be good. I'm already familiar with the band. We've talked about them before. Yeah. They're crazy good. It's a band I got to see live because I know they bring it to the stage. Something I'm going to enjoy whenever it comes on. Really worth the listen, and I gotta tell people, go and give this thing a chance. It's not the most traditional of metal. It's kind of the opposite, but it's heavy. Yeah. But there's catchy stuff. Singer-songwriter stuff. It's all over the place, but it's super fun.
Yep.
Jay, I know you like this album too. I seen some of the comments and stuff that you made on it. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I'll actually revisit this one later. Because I'd like to talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal album.
Okay.
For me, it hit me a little harder because I kept coming back to it.
Yeah.
So it is further up on my list. So I'm not going to just say that right now, what I feel about it or where it's at. But yeah, I agree with you, man. And I agree what you said right off rip too. Like kind of any one of these albums could be number one on. Because I've even switched my number one a few times. I've switched all the order. So it's almost like, it just depends on how I'm feeling. So
I guess the last thing I would say on that album real quick, and then you can give me your number 10, is that this is, I also consider this a great gateway metal album. I really do feel like you could get new metal fans through this band. You could introduce people to metal through this band. It's a little chaotic and crazy at times, so you got to kind of know the person you're introducing it to. But if they like all different things and they kind of got an energy that matches this band's album, I would introduce a lot of new fans to this right off rip. I think a lot of young kids might. And that's why I call it party music. I could see kids enjoying this like in a social situation too. It just makes sense.
Absolutely.
What you got at 10, brother?
All right. For me, we're going Gridiron. Poetry from Pain. 12 tracks, 33 minutes, May 30th, 2025. So for me, this wouldn't even necessarily be always something that this kind of hardcore that I'd be into.
Okay.
But to me, it's kind of like this new age Biohazard. We got to see them live, so that helped too, because they were sick as hell live.
Okay.
We seen them at Summer Slaughter,
Right.
And, man, this was one I just kept coming back to because it's just groovy as all piss, heavy as all hell. Just the rap and the flow and just the attitude towards the whole thing, just like all of his punchlines and stuff. And man, different kind of vocal because it's kind of like a rappy, like almost Cypress Hill tone in his voice a little bit, and Biohazard hasn't always been one that's been up on my list, but for some reason I just absolutely love Poetry from Pain. I think they did an awesome job with it. I wasn't even familiar with this band until this year,
right?
And then this came out, and at least one notable track on its Mascot. There was another one that I thought of too, but for some reason I didn't write it down here. But oh man, just one of the best breakdowns of the entire year on this track right here. But
now we saw this band this year, correct?
Yeah, the dude with the rap.
Yeah,
they were super heavy. Like
that was it Jamie Johnson? Was
Summer Slaughter
okay.
thing.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And I knew I saw these bands, and they did kill it live, man. They kind of, honestly, I feel like they did steal the show.
Yeah,
like they just because they were all hard. They were all about their thing and so dialed in, and everything about it just felt like natural and flow. I didn't listen to the full album, but I do recall the experience, and they do go in hard. And I got to say, good choice on that one. Thanks for reminding me of it. And that was a good moment this year in terms of live music.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely a band I got to co-sign on as being worthy of a top 10 nod for sure.
I think it helped that I seen them live this year, too. I was just like, holy shit, these guys are heavy as hell. Dude's rapping and stuff, but it's just so heavy. One thing I do want to say before I pass it back to you for 9 is there could have been another album right here on this, and it was on it for the longest time, but I just wanted to lean a little more towards the metal thing.
Sure.
And I will talk about it in my honorable mention, but it stayed on my list almost all year, and I just kicked it off. So we'll talk about that in the next episode. But
all the honorable mentions are just staring at this list like I was on that.
Yeah, come on. You pulled me last minute. Come on, this shit didn't even come out till October. What's going on, bro?
Right.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
Good stuff.
9.
So this is one that just came out a month ago. It's only been out for 4 weeks. Heard one single, then I got a chance to soak in the entire album, and I gotta say, man, normally not the type of music that I gravitate toward, but when every riff just makes me do this face where it's disgusting. Spite. New World Killer. Just so heavy.
You remember a text I sent you about that, or 2 or 3.
I'm sure. These guys have gotten better. I mean, their vocalist is already like top tier, but the riffs now are standing out a little bit more. We're getting a little bit more technicality with some of the riffage, and so many times, like, with his vocal too, he has such a great way of just doing the emotive type of thing. Whatever he does, little grunts and stuff. He does such a good job of like emphasizing like new riffs, like when they go into like something crushingly heavy, and he'll just give it a little accent. Every one of those little barks and everything that he does, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I mean, to be honest, I don't want to curse too much on this, for the kids that are listening, but this album fucks hard.
Yeah, dude.
It absolutely goes in like relentlessly, punishingly heavy. Hard to call it deathcore. I think that's kind of where you box it in, but it's not Lorna Shore, right? It's not that. It's not that style of deathcore.
Right. Absolutely.
Now we're getting to a point with the term of deathcore that is becoming more and more of a broad brushstroke.
Yep.
And you're finding that the cats that dig this music coming up as musicians, they're improving the entire genre, like Spite.
Mm-hmm.
They're just making like, deathcore is not bad when you start talking about bands like this.
Right.
Now I can talk about deathcore and say this is what it should sound like.
Absolutely.
And then you almost want to steer away from that. It's just extreme metal. It's kind of like a hardcore thing, but it's also got a lot of metallic riffs. So you could say metallic hardcore, but I don't hear the 2-step in there. I'm sure it's in there.
Yeah, a little bit here.
I feel
like
a
not
much. Couple of these beats, but without dragging on about it, this album is just about riffs and attitude. And again, not normally the style of metal that I gravitate toward, but when it's so good, when it's so undeniably good, and I just get juiced up on it, and I'm all of a sudden like, I talked to Jay about lifting weights because I got to do something with this energy now because it was so hype. Yep. Jay, I know you love it. You're a big fan. You always speak highly of this band. Did you want to jump in on it now?
I'll absolutely. I'll jump in on it now. It did make number 6 for me, so it was a little higher on my list.
Yeah.
But 10 tracks, 32 minutes, October 31st. So it just came out.
Yeah.
I know I sent you a few texts because when I heard it I've always been a fan of Spite, right?
Sure.
Just because Pissed Off, like the kind of deathcore I've always liked. I heard this and I said, there's not a lot of deathcore. This is even more metal. And if you ask them, I heard them on the Garza podcast talking about how they just kind of consider themselves a metal band or extreme metal band at this point. And I'm like, I see that on this album.
Yeah.
This is not really deathcore. There's some punishing breakdowns, but that's just kind of along with the ride now with all of the thrashiness. And there's even a song that's kind of like The Hand of the Reaper. It's kind of like the Static X upbeat Marilyn Manson, but it's still just pissy heavy. And to me, I just like I think it's their most metal forward album yet, but it's still hateful, still vicious, and it's just backed with some serious riffs. And even the drumming is a little more grindy and death metal, I think, than normal before, too, where it was a little more groovy. Now this guy's kind of executing a little more of them thrash and death grind beats. So, and then, of course, Darius, he's just a monster, like you said, dude. And every track's kind of got its own little vibe, too. Sure. Not everyone blends together as one 54 or 32-minute just piece of one song, which sometimes, if you get into that knuckle-dragging breakdown-ish deathcore stuff, it can kind of sound the same. But not this one, man. Gavel is an awesome song. Lights Out, another great song. And Shedding Skin is a great song. There's like this cool like bass intro on it. Pure headbanger, just fucking
Shallow,
jamming.
Shallow, I marked as another great track. Title track, New World Killer was great. They got the video for that one.
So really, all the tracks are great on this. No skips, dude. I mean,
when we're talking about an album in the top 10, every song should be a banger.
Yeah,
but
this one does feature Will Ramos, Servant of Chaos, and that's actually a super sick track too, dude. So, what a great album. I agree with you, dude.
Yeah, top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Only been around for a couple of weeks, but, it just knocked several things off the list. It was just too good. It was undeniable. It was undeniable.
It did it for me, too. It was further down on my whole list, but by the time 10 came out, it just went right up there on a second listen. I was like, yep, this was as good as I thought it was when I first heard it.
Yeah. They really came through. All expectations met and exceeded for Spite this year with this album. Great job.
Awesome job.
Anybody who hasn't heard them, go check them out, please.
Yeah, awesome.
So I guess we back to you.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, back to you.
So this is one that I could not get into. Twice I failed to really get it started and get into the album, but I wasn't going to go without committing to the whole thing and really giving them their propers and their due respect and my attention. And that is Shadow of Intent with Imperium Delirium.
Okay. Fair.
I struggled with it and I stumbled because of the first track. It just twice didn't grab me. And I really felt like, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't really understand track one. But as this thing got going, and I do like track 2 a lot, which was the Flying the Black Flag, they did drop that as their first single. So you did kind of get that one first in a way if you're folling the band closely.
The singles first, yeah.
So, but it's actually track 2. Would have been a great start to the album. I actually love it as a start to the album. It would have been great. But as this thing got cooking, like it just got better and better. And I kept going back to looking at it like, I might want to mark this song title and mark this song title. And then I got into it and I'm like, okay, I just marked like 7 songs. I might like this thing more than I think I like this thing. I was like, at first I was just kind of like, it's an honorable mention. No, man, it just kept cooking. The more it simmered, and by the time I kept, looking like where are we at, and I'm like, I still got like 3 more songs. I'm like, well, the last 6 have been good.
Yeah, you already wrote down like notes.
Yeah, I've got what
absolutely.
We got? They Murder Sleep, The Fastest of Propaganda, Feeding the Meat Grinder, Beholding the Sickness of Civilization, No Matter the Cost, and then the final track, I believe, is the title, Imperium Delirium. Just undeniable. Again, an album that. Maybe if it was not for the first track, I would have liked it earlier in the year. Because twice I just was like, I'm not in the mood for all of that.
Yeah.
Like Bryce is an incredible drummer. I think that first grind out of the gate was just it was a wash of like a little bit of that white noise too.
Yeah.
And the symphonies blaring. But I'm not gonna sit here and drag the first song. Maybe I'll like that if I get around to it another time.
Right. Absolutely. Or in the mood, because a lot of things are in the mood.
Yeah. But Chris is an undeniable powerhouse on the guitar. He's got some tasty lead work on there. Great choice riffing. Ben, one of the best vocalists in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing I want to comment on Ben with his performance on this one, he really nails it without over-delivering on the vocals. And we talk a lot about deathcore vocalists, and he does a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot.
He really lets it fly, but there were enough moments where I noticed that he just let the music do its thing. And there's also an instrumental track on the album.
I would say, and there's solos.
Yeah, and there's guitar solos. So, he's got to step back for those. And he did some really amazing things on this, but just a great deathcore album. But again, I use that term very trepid because we're really into like the symphonic death metal type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
especially with Shadow.
Yeah, I really loved it. Great work from this band. And again, all love from me. It's one of those band names that you can kind of count on me always giving them props and flowers because I loved it. I don't know if this one's in your top 10, if you wanted to speak to it, or if you
I'll speak to it real fast. Then we don't have to come back to it on honorable mentions because it made your top 10. It's not on my top 10, but I felt the same way. I listened to it once and I was like, this is cool. It's good. Mm-hmm. And then when I listened to it again, like more intentionally, I was like, holy shit, this record is powerful, man. These performances are on par with some of the best musicians out there, period. Just on top of the game. For me, it was just like I didn't really grab onto a lot when I was done with it, and it wasn't one where I was just like, I need to put that back on right away again. Sure. So honorable mention, yes. I mean, still probably high 8s for me. I mean, it's such a great album. I'm not going to deny it. Absolutely should listen to it, and it would be one that I come back and listen to again. It just didn't make my top 10, and it was just a little on the soupy side for me. I didn't get a lot out of it right off rip. So.
Also, we're talking about 54 minutes, 35 seconds. You really got to go to the top of the mountain.
You got to go with it. Yep.
You really got to go up there to take a shallow breath because it's a lot of work to get this whole thing in. But you can one song at a time if you mix it in. However you do with this album, it's really great. And the last thing I wanted to say is that, and I don't know if they did this too much in the past with their previous albums, but there was a lot of like the industrial influence in the production. Like they did a lot of things with just like some industrial sounding effects. Where it was like more broken
effects,
9 Inch Nails stuff. So it wasn't an entire like Lorna Shore symphonic orchestral deathcore album.
Right.
Those elements still exist if you're a fan of that in this band.
Yeah.
But
they always have.
Yeah, but you're getting more than that this time around, and it's not over. I didn't think they overdid the orchestra thing this time around.
Absolutely.
I thought they did choice work where they decided to do that this time.
Unlike Lorna Shore, that's the hugest, like a huge part of it, whereas like Shadow of Intent, it's not as big as part of the music itself. It's an element, but it's not everything. It doesn't revolve around the whole thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they don't have to have the orchestra.
Unless it's an intro, because sometimes they'll do those kind of things too.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, my turn. All right, cool. So this one snuck on the list the last minute after a second listen and almost a third right after, because I was thinking about it, and this band has always just kind of been middle of the road with me. Mm-hmm. And I even listened to this album once, and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. And then I listened to it 2 times in a row because I was like, holy shit, and that's Sanguisugabogg, Hideous Aftermath. Dude, 10 tracks, 47 minutes, just came out in October as well.
Yep.
But dude, I'm listening to this thing for the second time, and I'm just like, what do I have to complain about this album?
Nothing.
Not a single thing.
No.
I can sit there and say maybe I don't like DC, right? Like Deathcore, Diet Coke, whatever, but I'm like, this is the death metal that I love. It's groovy. It's pissy. Mm-hmm. It's heavy. It gives you grind when you need grinds. It doesn't do vocal Olympics. It's pretty simple on the vocal side, but there's enough variety to really give me, keep me interested in everything. But, oh, man, what an awesome, awesome album. They got some really, really cool different sounding tracks on here as well. There was one that was a little it's Repulsive Demise. It's kind of like this weird electronic beat that comes in, and then they just start riffing super hard, and he comes in with the vocals on it. It's just groovy, and the whole time you're just like, oh man, what a great album. I was like, I'd be remiss if I didn't put this on the list, man. I'm just like, this is death metal. This is what it is in 2025. And what else would I want besides this? Probably not much when it comes to just some new age 2025 death metal, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, I just absolutely love this album. Second listen, I'm like, it's going on the list. It's got to, man. Grimy, intensive, and heavy enough to liquefy your internal organs. Song with Travis Ryan, semi-automatic facial reconstruction. Just what a banger.
Yes.
Loaded with riffs, great riffs on this, just grimy and nasty. Nice natural production too. So, the Bog is on the list, bro.
Yeah, absolutely love this album. Kept checking the track titles as well. I just kept coming back to it like, oh, this is good. This is good. This is really good. I did put it very high on my honorable mention list because I wanted to get to talking about it early. I enjoyed this. Maggot Stomp Kings back with another modern, brutal death metal offering. So many great riffs. I love the grooves, and I love that tight tin can snare.
That poppy poop.
hell fucking yes to that.
Yes, dude.
Super fun album. I love this band. I love what they're doing for metal, and I love how many people are gravitating toward them.
Yes.
And just like the massive following swelling underneath them. So they're good for metal, and I love them.
They're fun presence online, too. Just always keeping it interesting and unique and like always with the memes and stuff.
Sure.
Like just being creative.
The band name logo.
Yeah, all the different stuff. Yeah. What a cool band, dude.
And yet the artwork is like disgusting. It's sick. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like a unsettling looking type of I don't know, some sort of looks like
weapon
some sort of,
or something, maybe?
Or some sort of witch type.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, but like a ritual type deal. Anyway, the artwork is cool. They take their craft very seriously. They got sick riffs. They got some two steps in there. They got some grind, some thrash. A lot of diversity. It keeps it interesting. And when the rubber meets the road, this band is hard and heavy as anyone else out there. And every riff slaps and everyone moshes. So Sanguisugabogg for the win with Hideous Aftermath.
Dude, absolutely.
Just a great album. And I loved it too. I kept making the same with Spite. I just kept making that grumpy face. Like, ugh, ugh,
dude, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude.
And it's one of those bands too. You know, there's not a whole lot of melody. There's not a whole lot of like harmony or progression like that. They just got sick riff after sick riff. So that's what you're getting out of this band is just a pile of sick riffs, and you'll be moshing and grooving and neck snapping. So great choice on that one. Got to agree.
Dude, absolutely.
Worthy. Yeah. So actually with that said, we're back to me then, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Yep, that was my 9 only.
Okay, so I'm up to number 7.
Yep.
We're descending mine in order. We'll get yours all out of order. We'll blow it right out of the water.
Yeah, mine's blown out of the water anyway, but it's fine.
So the Halo effect.
Okay.
With March of the Unheard.
Sure.
Oh man,
sure, dude.
Take me back. Some Swedish melodic death metal. This one put a smile on my face, and I did get numerous listens to it. It did come out very early in the year. I think it was January. So it had been out a long time, and I remember messaging you halfway into the year or more, and I'm like, dude, did you know this was out? Yeah. You're like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm like, no, it's great for me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, it's one of those things where, again, it's a little bit on the happy side when you get into that, major chord progression. They do that In Flames style of music.
Absolutely.
I got to at least name drop the In Flames because you got Jesper in the band. I think they're all former members of In Flames at one point, right? So you're definitely getting those big In Flames vibes, especially if you want to go back in time to Jester Race Colony, Clayman.
Yep.
Those are the vibes you're getting here.
Yeah.
Great musicians, great melody, lead work. You got some acoustic guitar. I think there was one song down the line of the album. He tried a clean vocal. It wasn't bad. It wasn't, like I'm not going to sit here and drag any other clean vocalists of any other band, but, hey, he didn't have to lean on clean vocals. They still had great hooks.
Yeah.
There was choruses. They're big. They fill up space. They feel like, like you could just feel them and you want to sing them back too. So I never get tired of metal like this that's melodic and triumphant. So if you're into that sort of style of music, I would, like the Swedish melodic death metal. That's probably the only album I have on my list that's this style of music. But I thought they did it perfect. I couldn't ask for anything more. And then again, numerous listens throughout the year, many smiles. Just some of it is even evocative, like almost a little bit emotional. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, well, this is really good music. So I think if you're a fan of music, you would like this. You do have to enjoy some of that thrash, and a lot of it's got that happy, bouncy beat, like there's steady double bass in the pocket beats, but
groovy metal beats.
But
thrashy beats.
Nothing too angry or over the top heavy. Obviously, no crushing breakdowns or anything knuckle dragging like that. That's not that style of music.
Yeah.
But they did a great job, and I had it higher on the list, but then as the year unfolds, you get numerous great albums, and you've heard this one many times, and it is great, but also I had to make room for a few other things. But Halo Effect with March of the Unheard, just a great album. I know you at least listened to it, Jay. How do you feel about it?
For me, it's not in my top 10. It's a high honorable mention. It's 8 in the high 8s for me as well. In Flames, you always wanted. Kind of the one you've always been wanting to hear.
Yeah.
This is that record.
Yeah.
It's purposeful. It's melodic. It's all that Swedish throwback. Give you that when you first heard In Flames, the Jester Race, and you were like, it just sent shivers down your spine because of the way they juxtapose all the melody with the bass line and the 2 guitar melody. It just gives us a feeling because, like you said, it is so big. It's not the orchestra. You don't need the orchestra and all that to make it big because the instruments are doing that, making it sound huge, But not mad at this album at all, dude. I thought it was a great, great album, and I could see why it would be on anyone's top 10, to be honest with you.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of melody,
yes,
this one's pretty melodic for me, and I'm going with Killswitch Engage This Consequence.
Love it.
So, man, I've always been a fan of this is 10 tracks, 35 minutes, so nice, not too long.
No.
35, you got me hooked. Like I can give you 35 easy. That's not a problem. Like my attention for 35, that's right where I like to be, you know.
Sure.
But this came out early in the year, so it was one I jumped on early.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember listening to it and I'm just like, these guys always get better.
Yeah.
They always continue to write amazing songs.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel like Adam D can do anything wrong. The production is great on it, but it's very natural. It doesn't sound overly processed or produced, but at the same time, always with that clear, heavy, nice production. You can hear the bass rattling in the background. But just what they always do, they give you some death metal type stuff happening in this one. There's some very heavy moments, but they always go back into some of them beautiful choruses that have a good meaning behind them. What Jesse's singing, right?
Yeah.
Like what he's saying means something.
Oh yeah, always.
You know, like and you can really relate to that. So it means a little more if you look into it like that. But there are some really heavy moments on this album. Some interesting timings on some riffs. Some weird the way they cut riffs and paste them together. A few of them are kind of like, oh, where'd that come from? That's kind of like, you had to think about that one for a little bit instead of just cut and paste verse, chorus, whereas they still do the, pop song structures for the most part, but there's some ripping solos on this. Another one where I wanted to write down a few tracks, and then by the end I wrote down every track because it's sick, right?
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, why am I writing down tracks at this point? But Where It Dies was an awesome one. Forever Aligned, that's the one that I'm talking about. There's some kind of really death metal territory in there with the heavy vocal and the scream vocal, and just what their dude on the drums is just grinding on here. I think his name is Justin, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But Collusion, another one with a really, really heavy part on there.
Yep.
But all in all, man, just Killswitch is back. They just really haven't gone anywhere, but they still have the muscle. They still have the bite. They're still intense.
Yep.
And then they still go into those clean, beautiful melodies and those cool guitar melodies, and just every track with a hook and a standout moment. It's awesome, dude. Great groove. Just fucking awesome record, dude.
Not mad at it at all. Had it in the top 10 for the longest time, and I remember when I first heard it, I did the same thing, and a lot of these albums are that way. That's why we talking about them up front right now, is I just kept checking the song titles. I'm like in the kitchen just trying to clean, and I got it blaring in the living room like max volume, and then I just kept doing the over the shoulder thing and the lean to see, okay, this track is good, and then it was every track, and I was like, really, every single track is like just turning my head, and and so that's when I knew it was a great album, and it was another testament to how great it is. Like I think the second day I had it, or it was out, I listened to it like 2 times in a row, and then a third time at night going to sleep to it. So I just love this thing right off a rip, and it did come out earlier in the year. Therefore, I did find a few other things that I wanted to speak to more highly, but Killswitch is back, and at 35 minutes, I'm not even mad at it. I know there was some flack, some of the fan base, or just, people were giving this album because it was too short. I'm like, man, this thing has no fat, no filler. Like, it's just banging riff after banging riff, and they do all the things Killswitch does well, and they do it very well this time around. Well. Like, they got great choruses, they've got very heavy riffs, some breakdowns, some death metal riffs, the clean vocals, the fry vocals, a lot of diversity going on. And they stick to that, that pop, song structure, that metalcore sound.
Yep.
But they're the metalcore that's kind of like that thrash metalcore, as opposed to the many styles of metalcore that exist now. But I gotta co-sign on this as a great album. Had it on the top 10 for a long time, but an honorable mention for me.
Cool.
Gotta love it. The Consequence is a great album.
Absolutely.
I think with that said, I'm going to shift the mood quite a bit, because I know Jesse's very positive. I would dare say call Jesse like my spiritual mentor. This next one, it's not a full 180 from that, but we're going into a dark, gloomy place from where we just were, and that's Abigail Williams with A Void Within Existence.
Okay.
This thing absolutely took me by surprise. Like, I know Abigail Williams. I kind of know what I'm in for. This thing just was pummeling me, and it was so deep and profound. I think one of the words I want to use to describe this album is like melancholic. It just had, but yet triumphant. It had such a sad feeling to it, but it's heavy. And I don't mean sad like sad boy cry music. I'm talking about like despair, like having your soul ripped out of your chest. Like this thing was immensely punishingly heavy in that regard. It's a melodic black and death metal album. You got Ken Sorceron on it. He produced it. Mixed and engineered by Dave Otero. So you got some big names right there in the death metal world, in the extreme metal world. This is an ambitious piece of music. I think it was like 7 songs, but about 42 minutes or something like that. So it's not too long. The last track was on the longer side.
Yeah.
I think it was the first one that they introduced us to. I think they rolled out with the ending because it was a long one. The first one that I saw was like a 9-minute video, and that's what that one is. It just feels forlorn yet triumphant, powerful and undeniable. Very moody. Non-Existence was great. Still Nights, also amazing. Talk to Your Sleep, super hauntingly beautiful and desperately sad. This album is metal as fuck. It feels big, a lot of doomy hypocrisy vibes in spots. Extremely beautiful and melodic metal album. I loved it. So I know you at least had to listen to it, Jay, and have something to say about it. I mean, but for me, it took me by surprise. It knocked like 5 things off the list. I was like, nope, this is sliding right down the middle here.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I remember when I listened to it, I was like, wait, this was way better and way something different than what I expected, actually. Whatever happened, I was like, and I noted, like, make sure you go back to this one. I just unfortunately didn't get a chance to really go back and dive into it. I do remember when I heard it, I know it was another one I sent to you. It was like, hey, this is out. Check this out.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to it. And anytime I start 2 songs in, I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I always like will send you, be like, hey, just a reminder. I know you got a lot of things to listen to, but this is one of them you need to get to. So this will be one I'm going to jam again. It was high honorable mention. I think I put it in as like 8.5 at least.
Yeah.
That's how good it was for me.
Yeah.
It didn't make top 10 and probably one I should have jammed more, but guys only got so much time.
No, I feel you. It's to me, I loved it. It caught me out of the blue. I was like, this has got to knock like something out. It's too good to me. It's something that it's kind of like that highbrow black and death metal. Like there's no jokes, there's no silliness, there's no genre bending. It's like metal full speed the whole time, but not like grind, like they got a lot of moody atmosphere going on. There's the piano in there. There's a bit of orchestration, if you will. There's just a lot of that production atmosphere that exists on this album, and great range of vocals. Just so many good things happening here, from riffs to melody to atmosphere. I'll get some miles out of this thing for sure. And even if I only ever listen to it once, I can just sit here and say that was a really enjoyable experience, just to soak that one in intentionally. And every song just felt good.
Yeah.
And they weren't like so drastically different one to the other, but it's not like an ulcerate where it's like an AC/DC.
Almost the same kind of
where
thing.
It's almost the same every song. Like there was enough diversity from their style choices in and throughout their songs but it did remind me a lot of that ulcerate, where you got that heavy impending doom feeling. Like it's just that dark foreboding doom death metal. Not too doomy, but spots. It's great.
Also, kudos to him, because if I'm not mistaken, then Val of Noth came out last year, and that album was incredible too. So
Top
2
10.
badass albums in 2 years. It's kind of like, dang, dude, you are writing some good stuff here, man.
Well, he also they toured together too, and I commented to one of his posts. I said, hey, how about roll out another Abigail Williams Val of Noth tour? He replied, he's oof.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, and I get that, man. But man, both bands kill it.
He's like, no thanks.
Jay, what's next?
All right, cool. So I don't know where we're at. What is this? 8, 7 for me?
Yeah, the last one you gave me was Killswitch.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Allegaeon, the Ossuary Lens.
Yes.
10 tracks, 44 minutes. This one came out in April 2025. Another one that took me by surprise, not a band I'm just going to jump right on and listen to their stuff, because it's not a band that I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till the new Allegaeon comes out.
Sure.
I did listen to this, and I was like, wow, man, just the technicality, the playing, the melody, but they also bring in the songwriting, so they kind of have the songwriting structures, but still everything else is so technical, so immaculate. The bass lines on this thing are absolutely incredible. These guys are like world-class musicians.
Oh, for sure.
Playing some just, like, they know what they're doing, man. Another one where I just wanted to write down every track there was, because every track I was like, there's something sweet in this song, something sweet in this song. and there's a little bit of clean vocals, and they sound absolutely awesome on this too. So they put it in there just enough, but they always are still riding on that heavy. It doesn't get into that almost Killswitch or In Flames happiness sometimes, or I'm not In Flames, but Halo Effect, like the last two that we talked about. This is kind of a different kind of melody, like this classical, almost neo-classical type melody. It's very dense, very massive, very epic, and there's some Discord stuff, black metal stuff, Discord-y heavy riffs. I mean, just what an awesome album. The Swarm, great song. Carried by Delusion, Dark Matter Dynamics, and Wake Circling Above are just a few on there that I would say go check out. But absolutely, this one stayed on top 10 and never left it because it's just a technical death metal, but so expressive. It's not stiff and jilted of technicality and death metal. It's just there's just a lot to take in, and it is a mood within itself a lot of the times. But very beautiful album, man. Loved it.
I gotta fully agree with you, so much so that it is in fact the next band on my list.
Oh, okay, cool.
We just landed right there coincidentally. That's awesome. So Allegaeon with the Ossuary Lens from Fort Collins, Colorado. They formed in 2008. This is their 7th studio album. Came out in April, but it's the band's first to feature vocalist Ezra Haynes since 2014's Elements of the Infinite. Now, I love this. I would call it like a monumental progressive death metal album. I think we're into, when you're talking about what is the genre, I gotta have that progressive adjective in front of the death metal here. I think because death metal could be Cannibal Corpse, brutal death metal or many things, but for this band, with all that they do, the instrumentation, the musicianship, the layers, the production, the keyboards, the clean vocals, that's when you start to get the adjective progressive added to your genre, the style of music. But I got to agree, every single song on this was, a huge piece of music. One of my favorites was toward the end of the album, Wake Circling Above. And because it was at the end of the album, I always just skipped right back to it. One more time. I just enjoyed listening to that one so much that every time I got to it at the end, I'd give it one more and then finish. Like just one more real quick, because it was the perfect length of album too, where I think it's like 45 minutes or something close to that, 50 maybe.
44 minutes.
44.
10 songs, 44 minutes, April 4th.
Yeah. My dog walks like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So I can always get that
one more extra song
one extra track in there. And I knew it too, but I love that chorus, and I love that chorus so much. And and they do it a couple times, but the last time they do it, they double it up, and then they do the key change where they go up like a half step or something like that. And the clean vocals on it move with it too, and I'm like, oh man, I'm a sucker for it too. Like they do so many great fry vocals, the gutturals and the screams and all that's
great.
Perfect, and I love it. But the musicianship is one of those things, and I think you're going to start to notice going forward on the list, some of these bands now start to sound a little bit alike. Well, that's my taste in music, and I gave you a lot of diversity up front on the first half of the list, and now as we go into the top half of this list, you're going to see some similarity because that's just what I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you like
totally
Allegaeon,
understandable.
I loved it. Number 5 for me, but there's a lot of bands that did a similar style, and I'm about to talk about all of those too coming right up.
Cool. All right, so my turn?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Well, here's one that's coming right off the heels of that. Maybe not as melodic, but Revocation, New God, New Masters.
Ooh, man,
9 tracks, 44 minutes. I believe this came out in October as well, 2025. If not, it was late September. I don't have the date on that one. But man, just shreddy, riff-focused death metal with hints of tech and prog.
Oh, yeah.
No vocal Olympics, nothing to prove, no orchestration, no bullshit.
Right.
We're just cutting right to the proggy tech death metal that has weird off times, but also heavy as shit, also groovy, technical on the drums. Bass is just banging in the background anytime you need it. You're hearing all that tone, just giving you that nasty, what Revocation does best.
Yes.
And I never, ever expect anything but an awesome album from these guys, because every time I've heard an album, even if I slept on it for 6 to 8 months, I listen to it and I'm like, my God, that's one of the best things I've ever heard when it comes to death metal or tech death metal or whatever you want to call this.
Yeah.
It's a little more highbrow. It's elite musicianship, but all the fat's trimmed off there. We're not noodling to noodle, but we are just riffing and we're giving it to you hard.
Yeah.
And all kinds of time signatures and just right in your face. Another one where I'm trying to remember the names of the songs or write them down. And by the time you're done, you wrote down every name of every song on the album because just, what an awesome, either Confines of Infinity with Travis Ryan. Like anytime you have Travis Ryan on a song, but then you add it with some Revocation death metal in the background, just what a tasty morsel that is. Dystopian Vermin blends great groove and melody. Like he has some melody going on there to keep you interested.
Oh yeah.
But it just doesn't get like into the wonky, super melodious territory.
Sure.
But he does add enough to really just layer. But man, Dave just knows what he's doing. Revocation, badass band. I don't know if you got anything to say on it, but
yeah,
for me, what an awesome album, dude.
Yeah, this is a standout album for me this year. New God, New Masters, tried and true death metal. Another great Revocation album. We got melodic, riffy, technical. Technical is a word I would lean into for the style of music.
Yeah.
Like that's a technical death metal band.
Sure.
Dave Davidson delivers death metal on a silver platter.
Yeah.
So if you've ever liked and enjoyed Revocation in the past, this is another great album from that band. They're very consistent. Guy really knows what he's doing in terms of his style, what he likes to play, his riffs, his songwriting. It all comes together very well. So much so he's got friends. You know, we got Travis Ryan on Confines of Infinity. We've got Johnny Davey from Job for a Cowboy on Cronenberged.
Yep.
And then we've got Luke LeMay from Gorguts on Buried Epic.
That's a sweet song.
So just a great album. I gotta say it was very high on my honorable mentions list, and I could see it being somebody's number one. We had some cats roll through here, both wearing Revocation shirts. So it's just a band that the community loves. I love it. It's a great band and a great album, and I enjoyed it front to back. And I gotta say, great choice on it. For me, moving forward on my list, one that I enjoyed a lot, and it's similar to some of these other bands that I'm going to speak about, but the Kardashev album, Alunia.
Sure.
Every time I tried to downplay how good it was, like, yeah, it's good, but I'm just going to put it on my honorable mention. But it's one of those that I just kept coming back to, Jay. I love everything about it, the same as I do with the previous band that I mentioned, Allegaeon. You got that highbrow, superior musicianship. These guys can just play. You've got the clean passages, but you've got the death metal passages as well, almost black and death at times.
Mm-hmm.
There's just that. I like to use that prog word because they do so many different things just on their instruments alone. They don't infuse too much with like production, orchestration,
right.
Other
weird breaks in the songs or anything.
Yeah, there's not a lot of production atmosphere there,
right.
But you get your acoustic guitar, you get a lot of the melody and harmony from the two guitars. Great thunderous, like gritty bass tones. This is and you've got the clean vocals and the fry vocals. Now I'm always going to be a sucker for that. If you can sing and you do a good job of it and you write hooks, those little earworms. They're just going to keep coming back to me. I get done listening to this album and I'm humming a song or two throughout the day, throughout the week. It's just one of those things that just had so much stick on my brain. I just kept coming back to it. Let me see. I love the instrumental passages, the combination of the vocals, big, heavy riffs. It had all the things I like in progressive death metal. So I love this album immediately, and I knew it was a top 10 album of the year for me. It reminds me when I came home from listening to it the first time. I was walking the dog. It was dark, and I get in the house, and I just walked right up to the bedroom, and I look right at my wife, and I'm like, man, I just listened to probably a top 10 album of the year. I was ecstatic. I was so happy that I got this thing in the first time in. I went to my wife and I told her how excited I was that I just listened to it. That's how good it was to me. I had to tell my wife it was great. So I know you listened to it. I know it wasn't on your top 10. I could see, I knew that, but Jason, I'll pass it back to you because at least I know you listened to it. So shout it out. What do you say?
Yeah, I put parts of this were absolutely outstanding to me. Like parts of it.
Yeah,
the top tier players, the dudes can play with anybody. They're hanging with anybody. And some of it was just absolutely incredible to me. But the problem was the clean vocals to me, it's like he's not in the right band kind of thing.
Sure.
Like his clean, it's not that he sucked at clean singing.
No.
It's just whatever he was singing on top of whatever was happening just didn't seem to fit. And it was just so disjointed in my mind. I couldn't make that connection to like even bring it to a top honorable. I mean, I would talk about it that I listened to it, but it was just one of those ones where it's just like, it just threw me off so bad that I couldn't come back to it. But
I hear you. Sometimes,
but at the same time, all the other stuff was outstanding to me. Like,
great
if
players.
I didn't hear none of the clean vocals, I could have just had all of that, and I would have been like, this is sick as hell.
That's fair.
And like I said, it's not like he was a bad clean vocals.
No,
there were times that were good clean vocals.
Sure.
Some of the other times, it's like, why choose that key? What is that vocal? And it just kind of threw me off. So that was just the thing that kind of
No, I know.
I only got one spin from me, but
I know some of those. Sometimes a vocal can hit you the wrong way and just be like, ah. And I've heard it too before, but
yeah.
Absolutely love this band. They did a great job for me.
And I could see how it could be on anybody's top 10. You know, I don't.
Shout out Clint. I'm sure Clint is he's name dropped this band before too.
Absolutely.
Several times. So once I listened to it and I knew Clint was recommending it, I gave it quite the ear and I loved it. So shout out Clint for that recommendation. I run with it. I loved it.
Absolutely.
What you got, bro?
All right. So the next one, this may not come surprise to some people, but I'm going Despised Icon Shadow Work. 11 tracks, 36 minutes and 21 seconds. This just came out on, I believe, Halloween here. Man, always been a Despised Icon fan. The last few have been cool, like since they've kind of made the resurgence. I thought they were good. It was like Beast, and I can't remember the other one. I thought they were good. But for some reason, this one just comes out just tightly executed, razor sharp, just slicing through your flesh with the amazing drum work and the guitar playing on this. The dual vocalist attack. You got two vocals and you don't make it excessive. And you got one vocalist out here and some guys, and it's just like, shut up already. Yeah. You got two guys that can do different things and they know when to write patterns. They know when to shut up. And I think it's some of the stuff, the best stuff they put out since Day of Mourning, which was kind of, to me, one of the last ones before they took hiatus. That was the top quality one. Title track erupts immediately, catchy yet violently unhinged, closing with a monstrous breakdown. There's all kinds of stuff on here. There's black metal stuff on here. There are just rage, fast, precise. The drumming's intense. The Apparition, what a dark, blistering, and memorable song.
Yep.
There was one on here, Kante Cour. I think that's how you say it, maybe. It's kind of like this weird, like, punky two-steppy, and they like speak in French on here. So that one might not be for everybody, but I thought it was cool just the way they threw it in there, so it's just not constant all death metal in your face.
Right.
So there was enough dynamics and everything to also keep me interested as well, instead of just pummeling me for all 36 minutes. Also, 36 minutes, kind of in my sweet spot of albums that I can take in. You gave me enough. You didn't overdo it. You didn't give me 47 minutes and you could have cut those 3 songs or whatever. I just think this album's absolutely phenomenal, man. It got multiple listens right off the rip. And I couldn't say enough high things out about it. Right before I jumped to you, I seen a few people be like, oh, there's a few parts that might have been kind of cringe because there is like a vocal line or like a singing line here or there that kind of sounded weird. And I'll give you that, but it wasn't so weird that it threw me off of not liking the album at all. I still think this thing is amazing, and I'm so glad they put it out this year.
Oh, man. So if this is deathcore, then deathcore is one of the best genres ever. Like, I just, like, that's the thing where you get to using a word, and there's so many bands that drag a genre down, but then you got kings like Despised Icon who come out and say, well, they called us deathcore, and I think they're great.
Yeah.
This is a great band. I had it in consideration for a top 10 moniker, but and it's worthy of it. And I agree with you having on there. And I thought you might, because it's a great fucking album.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this thing. 2 minutes in, and I'm just picking my jaw up off the floor. Like, my jaw was, what? Like, my God, these maniacal screams. Like, what a madman. I think one of the early lyrics where you could, like, that maniacal scream, that really high-pitched wailing was like the over my dead body.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept repeating that lyric, and I was like, when that guy screams like that, he's like really high pitched and wailing.
Yep. Almost
kind of reminds me of the local death metal band where the guy's wailing. But anyway, like, you got a couple of piggies in there too. Like, track 2, the piggies that switch up. Yeah. He does like a piggy, and then he elevated it to like a little bit higher piggy. Like, Wilbur just started taking off faster. Yeah, it was. So I was like, not only do you do some really cool piggies, but which I'm like, give or take, take or leave them. But like, he did a really neat job, like, by elevating, like, giving it a little key change. I was like, oh, that's neat. Like, that you would do that. I was just taken by all of these vocals and just the relentless punishing heaviness of this album. I mean, if this is deathcore, give me more. But I would dare say it's closer to just extreme death metal.
Extreme metal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got some breakdowns.
It does, and
that's punky,
and I think maybe the breakdowns was the part for me where I'm like, it reminded me of, like, say, maybe Ingested's album last year, where it's a great deathcore album, very progressive, a lot of great things happening, but some of those knuckle dragging like breakdowns, they kind of take some of the wind out of my sails. But this album was great. I mean, just great, and I don't mind. That's one of those things where I'm like, well, I don't mind the breakdowns that bad. I just like, I'm usually like, I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like, this album is like a 9 out of 10 for me, and I gotta say, top 10 consideration for sure. I had it very high. very, very high on my honorable mentions list because I wanted to make sure I talk about it.
Yeah.
And that it was there. It was like at 8, 9, 10, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
that's basically where then you just get into almost personal preference at that point, right? You're just like, that is it. Do I love it enough to get it on top 10?
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm probably going to trade you those breakdowns for some of those melodic guitar solos and passages and choruses and such.
Absolutely. So
but they did
the only difference. Yep.
Such a great album. I absolutely loved it, and I agree with you. Actually, the ball stays in my court for this next part.
Sure does.
This next one was almost a gimme. I kind of knew what to expect, and it met and exceeded expectations, and that's Fallujah with Xenotaph.
Okay.
I mean, I'm always going to cape for Scott Carstairs.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is just one of the best guitarists on the planet.
Yep.
He's an alien. He can do no wrong, in my opinion. But it's really great for me to see, not only is he an amazing musician, but this album really came together for him. Now, the last one was great too, but I really feel like we're working with a group of guys that kind of get it. Yeah. They understand the assignment and the mission, and they all kind of come together. And they wrote a really amazing progressive death metal album, in my opinion. And it clocks in on a little bit shorter side. I want to say 42 to 44 minutes. But I got some miles out of this one. I remember mowing the lawn, and my lawn takes about 90 minutes. And this thing played over twice, and I was just like, didn't care that it started over. I didn't feel like I needed to change the album. I felt so good about it. And I just wanted to let it keep going. Like maybe I could have got 2 albums in that day, but I decided I wanted to listen to Xenotaph twice in a row.
It's probably a smart move, actually.
Yeah, and then I'd listen to it walking the dog. And again, you talk about an album that gets miles. You keep going back to it. You defer to it as opposed to a new album. You're like, well, I don't know what I'm in for with the new one today. Just going to walk the dog for 45, 50 minutes, and we're going to get Xenotaph in again. They did a great job.
That's smart with this album, and I'll explain that when it's my turn. So go ahead.
Just progressive death metal, top tier, polished production, loaded with atmosphere, phenomenal musicianship, tremendous vocal diversity, complexity, technicality, and melody for days. Just another one of those albums that, like, as I said, I literally got miles out of it in my shoes walking around listening to it. It doesn't feel too long, but some of these songs really do go to the top of the mountain. You really, like, it is a progressive piece. Song structure, yes, it exists, but they're also going to go on tangents and extrapolate, and it's going to go on for a long time. Some of these things, they really build up. So, and a great drummer, like this guy can just sit there and do double kick all day, like a Mario,
non-stop.
Like a Mario Duplantier from Gojira. Like he can just steady double kick it for 20 minutes on end, not even breaking a sweat. So all, again, and with a band like this, all incredible musicians. Everybody in the band is like an S-tier style of musician. And, so when you have that level of skill, it's just about, can you write good songs? And in this case, this album particularly, they did. They knocked it out of the park across the board for me. Top 5 for sure. So I got it at 3 for me. But Jay, where do you want to put it?
You're on 3 already?
I'm on 3. I've got 2 more to talk about.
Oh, because I still have 1, 2. Yeah, I still got like 5 left.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. I'm on 3. I didn't skip anything.
No. But anyway, I'll just speak on it. To me, it was like it's just kind of like if death metal was classical music.
Sure.
Like how complex and interesting and expressive it is. Definitely, it just didn't kind of grab me. To me, it was just kind of noodly for the sake of being noodly. But I don't want to say that in a bad way because these guys are the best musicians in the world. It was just, I gave it 1 spin. I listened to the whole thing. I probably should have spun it back a few times because a record like this, you can't take in on 1 spin. So that's on me. That's not on the band for being as sick as they are.
Right.
I needed to take it in a few more times. It's just so dense.
Right.
When you have it on and you're trying to take it in, and then by song 7, it's kind of like the same, just progressive overload of like just more notes, and you're just like, what? You're just swimming in notes. You're just like, what am I doing here? I don't know. Like
all the notes.
Yeah, so that's where it kind of lost me a little bit. Not that it's not incredible. The artwork is absolutely amazing on it. The playing is phenomenal. I just remember like the first song, I was like shitting my pants. Like, oh my God, this is incredible. Just all the playing and the riffs. I mean, like I will take nothing away from this. I'm just saying as far as like me coming back to it, I probably should have revisited it again.
Sure.
Only so much time. Also, just at first, it was just like, great record. It didn't come back into the spin. So,
well, you did hit me up, and you knew it was my style. You're like, hey, this Fallujah is great. So I know that you listened to it. You got my number. You know I like this style, and
absolutely,
and I certainly did like it, and enough so to spin it several times. So, But it is still your turn. I know you got something next for me. What you got, brother?
So this one was always kind of high on the list, especially as soon as I heard it. And this is a Black Braid 3.
Okay.
10 tracks, 52 minutes. Came out earlier in the year, 2025, maybe middle of the year. I don't know why I don't have some of these I wrote down, some of them I didn't. But man, just what a breathtaking journey of melodic black metal, atmospheric storytelling, raw. It's emotional. You feel like you're there. Like just the lore, everything behind it. It's evil. It's pissed, but it's also very simple,
right,
and direct. It's almost like keep it simple. Like how can you make simple things sound really badass?
Agreed.
Just by some of the layering and everything, because it's not over the top, but it's still so heavy and in your face. It reminds me of a band that I really like, Gorgoroth. Like it's just kind of groovy black metal, but it has a great production on it, and just all the things that are put into this music, all the effects, the little owl noises, the fire, the playing the guitar. It's just a great emotional ride that keeps you interested the whole time. And couple great songs, The Dying Breath of a Sacred Stag, The Earth is Weeping, and God of Black Blood. I think them are just ones right off rip, but the Earth is Weeping, it's kind of like just a really cool acoustic interlude. That's the one with like the owls and all that stuff going on, I believe. And then the God of Black Blood's the one he kind of starts, but then the scream he goes into off of that is just so strong and powerful, just for a simple black metal vocal, but it's just like so riveting and visceral. And I'm just like, man, what? And the riffs on the song are sick too. So, man, Black Braid 3, fantastic album, dude. It's just angst, it's pissed, it's just angry, and I just love all of it.
Yeah, and I got to agree. And again, so much so that it is the number 2 album on my list this year. So Black Braid 3, I remember we did listen to it in the car.
Yes, we did.
We talked over a significant portion of it because we can't help ourselves in a long car ride. We're going to talk. But, you pointed some things out to me then in the car. And then I remember like the next day or something, I was like, we listened to it? I couldn't remember. Well, when I finally replayed it back, like in my house and I'm listening to it, I remembered that very vocal part with he's clearing his throat. So I remembered that, and some of the passages, like the acoustic instrumental intros and such, I almost thought my YouTube algorithm lied to me and messed up and kicked me over to like Black Braid 2 because they're so good at what they do. I thought maybe I was listening to Black Braid 2 accidentally, and my algorithm messed up. Nope, this album is as good or better than that album. That's where we're at with Black Braid. They got some haters. I read comments. I don't care. I'm not going to go into all of that and whatever they want to say about this cat. I just know he writes great folk black death metal.
Yeah.
Great sense of melody. And I love the cultural, Iroquois, Native American influence that is in and throughout this entire thing. Whether you're camping under the stars in the desert and you can hear creepy crawlies in the sand, or, the owls, like you said, there's all the natural, there's the fire crackling, there's the acoustic guitar. Everything about it just screams, like living under the sun or the stars in Wyoming,
nature,
Yosemite National Park. So this album, like a spiritual journey, right? Another trip to the top of the mountain. It is a long one. You're going for a ride, but this isn't as complicated as some of the other bands we've mentioned. This is something that you can really understand and take in easily. The riffs aren't as technical or progressive, if you will, but they're tasty, they're choice, they rip. There's anger, there's beauty, there's a lot of things going on. Skegasawa, a Mohawk name meaning the witch hawk. This dude just has a knack for writing simple but undeniably catchy riffs, and they repeat and they go at length, so you get it in tablespoon doses. Like you're getting a big chunk of this riff for 3 minutes straight. The one that you mentioned, the acoustic one, it's like the same thing for 4.5 minutes. That's all it is.
But the background noises change, so you're kind of listening to that. It's just like that's almost the background noise, but all the other stuff going on around it is more of the forefront of that passage, right? So it just makes it natural and interesting. I
think everything about this is a great album. American Black Death Metal Project out of New York. I got to say, it's one of those band names, too, where you can really count on me enjoying it. Yes, I'm going to speak highly of it. Is it the next time they put one out? If it's Black Braid 4 in 2 years, probably going in the top 10. Like, unless they're going to do a drastic departure and do things that they don't do, then I wouldn't enjoy it. If he starts infusing industrial or electronic sounds, I'm not going to enjoy Black Braid 4.
Right.
But I doubt he's going to do that to me. So this is just a great band. John Krieger is the man's actual name, but I absolutely love
John Krieger Mellencamp.
Yep, John Krieger sucking on a chili dog. Oh man, it's great. The Black Braid 3, I'm telling you,
it's fantastic.
It's a great album, and
that's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
I'm not mad at that at all, buddy. This one real quick. So Dormant Ordeal. This album, man, 9 tracks, 47 minutes, April 18th, 2025. Kept coming back to this. Just a devastating blend of black and death metal with old school behemoth energy. Minus kind of like the satanic and occult themes and stuff, But emotionally, to me, a lot heavier. Drummer is a machine. Bass tune cuts like a blade, and the right-hand picking is just savage on this from these guys. I kind of felt like these guys almost sounded like Ulcerate if Ulcerate played more on all the top low strings instead of all the high strings all the time.
Right.
Because it's just kind of that style, that overseas death metal. Well, they're Australia, right? Ulcerate?
New Zealand.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, Dormant Ordeal, Tooth and Nail. Just what a fucking heavy, badass, moody album.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to listen to this one. I know you recommended it to me, and it was one of those that I just kind of ran out of time for. So no review from me, no comments other than I trust that it's good because you say so, and it's one that if you're going to compare it to a band name like that, I definitely have my ears perked up to circle around, and I have it highlighted. It's not just like in normal plain white text on flat black background. I got it highlighted as one that we got to about 4 a.m, and I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm not gonna listen to one more thing.
It's definitely one that you gotta jam though. Maybe I kept coming back to it because it was so good, so badass. So we're gonna go with my number 3 then, just to catch up.
Sure.
Malevolence, Where Only the Truth is Spoken. 11 tracks, 42 minutes, June 2025. I heard this thing and I was just like absolutely blown away by this thing. I was like, these are riffs of the year. Of all the bands, when you want to just say riffs, like heavy, right-handed, cool, melodic style riffs, these guys take the riffs of the year cake because of the riffs that are on this album. The vocals are balanced, they're gritty, but there's some, melody with them. It's controlled aggression. Awesome solos that rip. The production is flawless. It's super punchy, and it's very modern, but it doesn't lose any of the grit. Another one, you could listen to every single song. There's one called Salt the Wound, where it's very, very like an acoustic section and very, light, and then it gets kind of heavy. It almost reminds me of that old Nothing Face song.
Okay.
Man, just so many teeth kickers, fucking face punchers, heavy breakdown riffs, but still, it's almost like, if like Machine Head or Pantera was around in 2025 type thing. I mean, I know Machine Head is, but it's like the new age, the heaviness of the riffs and everything. But I just cannot I've told everybody about this album 12 times a piece this year because I love it so much. It's just so heavy, but it's not death metal heavy. It's just heavy metal, bro.
Yeah.
But it's the heaviest of heavy metal.
Yeah.
So sick. Loved it.
I agree. This is one that kept coming up on the Liquid XM in my car rides, and it's one that I kept taking pictures of the dashboard so that I could circle back to it. I did listen to the entire album, and I got to agree with you. This thing is great, and I marked like half of the album tracks down here, but also you've got you've got guitar solos, you got riffs, you've got hooks. He's kind of got that yelling clean vocal. Like you can audibly understand every
like
word.
Crowbar kind of almost.
And he can move and pitch shift it, so it's not like a Fry vocal necessarily. It does have a lot of grit or even some Fry on it, but like he can sing through that, but he's got that lower register. It's almost in that lower guttural kind of thing. So guitar solos, he even had a ballad, I think, on this album.
Yeah, that's Salt the Wound.
Yep. So really solid musicians. I love Trenches. If It's All the Same to You.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Really love that one. Salt the Wound, So Help Me God, In Heaven's Sake, all jumped out to me. All had great melodies and memorable choruses. Very anthemic album.
Yeah.
And really not a track to skip. If you're down from the first song, this is a great album. So what you get on track 1 is it is the style of band where you get pretty much all of that. There is the ballad, but there's enough diversity in and throughout this album that, you're going to enjoy it for like a metallic hardcore album.
Yep.
I absolutely loved it.
Absolutely,
and I agree with it, and I'm glad to hear you speak to it. So good call.
I don't know. It's just one of those ones where it's not simple by any means, but it's just real straightforward.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just so heavy, but so intricate. It's a very, very great mix of music. One of my favorite albums, definitely of the year.
Sure.
My number 2 is going to be your number 1. I probably already know.
Yeah.
So, I'll just say what it is, and we'll talk about this album for a little bit.
Sure.
Rivers of Nihil.
Self-titled.
Right?
Self-titled.
That's your number 1?
Absolutely.
So it was my number 1 for a long time.
Yeah.
But it kind of squeaked its way off when I revisited some of these and what impacted me more. But 10 tracks, 50 minutes, came out May 20th, 2025. But man, this thing is just, you want to talk about going to the mountain. This thing is a trip to the mountain and then another one and another one and then coming back.
I feel like this one is the mountain.
Yeah, this is 2 parks for the price of 1. This is just, man, it's so definitive. It's confident. It's so lethal. I mean, just razor sharp with the drumming. Also helps that I seen them play some of these songs like whenever this was 24 or whatever.
Yep.
Early 24, I think, or maybe late 23. Anyway,
they probably had some in the works.
But yeah, dude, just seeing them play, just with the new lineup. I've seen them before. We've seen them before. But with the new lineup, the new songs are getting played. Oh, just phenomenal. What a great album. Another one. Every single fucking song I got notes on because it's so amazing. I have notes on every single song. All of the things that happen in it. It's probably not necessary to go through, but oh man. Great singing, great performance on every faucet. I'll say the one thing that if I had to say one thing about it,
sure,
is some of the weird little prog sections. They don't last long, but they're just like, why is that there? Like, I get the dynamic breakup, but some of it almost gets unnecessary, and this is almost the reason why it moved to number 2 for me because I just felt like those parts didn't make sense and everything else kind of did, or whatever key or whatever they went into on some of those parts just seemed kind of jilted and weird. But other than that, like almost flawless record, period. I just had to pick one thing about it. So
sure. For me, you guys already know I'm a huge fan of this band. Little by little, everything that they've done, go back 2 albums to Where Owls Know My Name, and I was in love with that album. And then the work, I loved that I could see the departure from being a little bit more straightforward, and they did use the saxophone back then, and maybe they've always used the saxophone in their stuff, but the work was a progressive metal album, but it didn't quite have the teeth maybe that the prior one did. This one has it all.
Yeah.
This one's great. You get that saxophone, and you get these choice heavy riffs, and you get the clean vocals, and you get the fry vocals. There's nothing these guys can't do vocally or instrumentally. It blows my mind. You got the drummer does the clean vocals, the bassist does the clean vocals. Now you've got Andy from Black Crown Initiate. He's joined in the band. He does clean vocals. Yep. I know that the drum or the bassist does all the fry vocals. Yep. I don't know if he's getting any help there or if the drummer also backs him up on the fry vocals, but
I can't remember when I seen him. I just remember his vocals were sweet as fuck though. Like live, like all the vocals were on point too, but his fry vocal, I was like, that's evil, man.
Yeah, for me, I can't ask for much more. And if you look at the last 4 maybe albums that I mentioned, this is, again, a progressive death metal outfit. This is a melodic progressive death metal outfit, and it's heavy. It's got so many good riffs. I put it on again last night, and I played track 1 because I was already committed to this being my number 1 album of the year. Wasn't really much going to knock it off. And I mean, it's been out for a while. I've had time to let other things knock it off. But I played it for 30 seconds last night, and I immediately smiled, and I felt warm because just with the vocals coming in and that first riff, and it's just everything with the production, everything about it just made sense. There's a sound to it that just resonates with me in a way that like I said, I can't ask for much more. Every time I listen to it, I'm just surprised at how much I loved it, and I couldn't decide which song was best. Because they're all good.
Yeah.
Just one to the next. I'm like, well, maybe today this one's my favorite. Oh, I'm feeling this one today. They're all good.
Yeah, they're all good.
So, it's melodic, heavy, riffy, catchy. They utilize so many great vocals. The crowning achievement, this album, by these Reading Pennsylvania champions. I listened to this album a ton this year. Every time I would pull my phone out and try to remember song names just to say, which ones am I going to recommend to people? Well, go with Despair Church.
Yeah, definitely.
Water and Time.
Great song.
Great song. They led with that one, I think. And then House of Light, which was the first single, and American Death all stand out in this triumphant progressive death metal masterpiece. Album of the year for me. It's just my style of music. There's a lot of great things. There's some things on the honorable mentions too where I'm like, these could be in my top 10, but for the style of music that you guys can count on me recommending, what does Mod listen to? What would Mod say? this is me.
Yeah.
This is me all day. It's you got the keys, you got the solos, you got the clean vocals, you got the songwriting, you got the musicianship. There's, it checks all the boxes, and several of these other albums did as well. I just these are my boys. These are my dudes. I just look forward to them so much. And I know that every time I listen to this one, I was like, yeah, it's still number one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan of those other bands. I just been riding with these guys so hard now. It's almost kind of like, oh, they're my team. They're my favorite.
Right,
I almost feel like I'm being biased, and it's not the case. It's just that every time I listen to it, I just still felt the same about it. I'm like, oh, it makes me happy. And
they write the kind of music you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. The
exact kind of music you want to hear is on this album.
Yeah, they just know, hey, Mod, we got a new one. Hey, it's my favorite song. Thanks, guys.
It's got everything we talk about. Melody, songwriting, technicality, heaviness. Everything that we always say we like about music is on this album.
Amen.
So
it
makes complete sense. I knew it was going to be your number one.
Oh,
I stayed at my number one for a long, long time.
And I know I almost had a feeling because I saw a Facebook comment that you made that I was going to blow your whole list out of the water with the way I came out, and
that's fine.
And I passed it back to you, and you handled it well. But it's a great album. But Jay, tell me more about your number one album, please.
Yeah, so I got to go with the Callous Daoboys.
Great album.
2 and 1 just really all year long. Like I had Rivers in at 1 because I was just like, it's metal, dude.
It's metal.
This is metal.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about metal? Rivers of Nihil is metal. Callous Daoboys, there's metal parts.
It's a lot of metal.
But to me, it's just, so it's 13 tracks, 57 minutes. I know we talked about it. You talked about it. I'm glad you at least had it on your top 10. Yeah. Because when I'm listening to this thing, it just takes me to places, man.
Amen.
It's just this is like some weird highbrow art. Like this is beyond music to me. The way the guy does his vocals, it's catchy, but also so spastic and weird. You're like, where are we going with this? What's happening? What genre is this?
Sure.
But I'm just like, all these layers, all these different parts, when they get heavy and they do these interesting guitar things with the pitch pedal and everything, they're not just playing these breakdowns like any band would on 1, 4, and 3. They're finding interesting ways even to do a breakdown. And this isn't a band that I've heard some things by and thought it was cool, but for some reason, just when I put this album on, it just emotionally shook me this year. Just because some of his melodious vocal passages is just like, dude, he's just singing to me, and
the content.
Yeah, his vocals sound like Greg a lot from Dillinger.
Yeah,
when Greg was in Dillinger, like some of his clean singing and some of his.
I get that.
Because I heard you kind of say every time I die, there's
Better
a little
Lovers.
bit of that. Better Lovers. Yeah, that makes sense. When they get heavy, but still another one. Every single song I had a bunch of notes to write about because every single one of them just had its own flair. You could listen to one song on this album and then not know what song 7 sounds like.
Yeah. So this is definitely a band where the songwriting, each song is like a unique piece.
Yes.
There is a theme throughout with their style, and there's some of their riffing is going to come back to the similar guitar heavy riffing. But they do a great job of infusing all these different genres in a natural way. Again, a lot of bands can do that genre hopping thing, and maybe it's kind of jilted. I think like 12 Foot Ninja was a band. Great band. Yeah. Absolutely love them.
Yep.
I always did feel like when they went to the salsa or the merengue, it was kind of like a jilted, like you went from gent to salsa.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's a little weird.
Yeah.
These guys did similar things, but none of that felt as like stop-go genre change on it, stop on a dime. I thought they did. On the one hand, it almost kind of comes off as a little bit silly tongue-in-cheek, but I don't think so. I really feel like maybe there was a heartbreak in the band and the music got dialed in a little bit more. We're not taking it to the highbrow level of art. Nonetheless, it was great. It really caught me off guard because I was like, I kind of took these guys, this band I should say, as like this metalcore, math rock kind of shenanigans style of band where everything's a little bit silly or tongue-in-cheek. But with this, and just taking it for what it is as a piece of art, super entertaining, a lot of great style, heavy riffs, fun. FUN. This album is fun. And again, as I started out with it as number 10, but it is something you can get a lot of miles out of. And also you can share it with a wide group of your friends. Some people might like it a little bit. Some people might like it a lot, and it might be their favorite thing. And as I said, I would consider it to be a good to great gateway metal album. I think this style of band could bring a lot of fans into the genre. There's going to be, I call it party metal, but not in a condescending type of a way. I just felt like you can listen to this and enjoy it in the background but you can also listen to it and then take it for this really interesting, unique piece of art where you're having the story told to you from the future and experiencing it in real time. You're like, what's going on with this weird conspiracy? What's happening here? So there's a lot of intrigue and interest in this album. And I agree with it being a great representation of metal for this year. If you want to call it metal album of the year, I'm with that because there's definitely metal all over this album. You just get to have all of the other sides,
other things too, and
many sides.
And it almost didn't make the list as far as number one because. But after a second listen or third, fourth listen of the Rivers of Nihil, and then like my 10th listen of this, I'm still hearing new stuff that I didn't hear before, and interesting vocals and lines and melodies. And I'm just like, man, there's just so much to unpack. Where for me, it's like, I can just continue to listen to this and get more and more out of it each time. So it's just different. But it's still heavy as piss. There's some of the heaviest shit I've ever heard on this record. Just when they go into some of those breakdowns and he's just the heavy, low death metal vocal over the scream. So, like, we're even going there. But then we go to this weird, like, lo-fi, like, beat and he's singing over it. It's just so strange, but just absolutely loved it, man. And it's weird. It's because it is a weird balance between it is kind of quirky and tongue-in-cheek and weird, but also a piece of art that's very, very serious. So it's weird that you can see both sides of it, right? But just going back, and we can kill it on this before we read these other people's list here. Going back on that, the whole just the sample, I didn't get it at first, and then I listened to it back, and it's like, this piece of art was found, like, it's in the future in Quadrant F, and now it's displayed in the Museum of Failure, and it's just like the whole, it doesn't really mean anything, and then, like, at the end, it's like, you can enjoy this last section from the piece of Don't Want to See You in Heaven from the Callous. Like, the whole sample and the way they put it all together was very cool and unique to me, and it told a story, and it was a whole mood, and fuck, I just can't say nothing but good things about the album, man.
It's a wild journey to me, and the way that you had your list unfold kind of reminds me of a little bit of the way mine unfolded last year, whereas I went with the Enterprise Earth. I thought it was a great deathcore, metalcore blend and a great representation of metal, and it was eclectic and across the board. And my number 2, if you recall, was The Job for a Cowboy, where it's a little bit more straightforward death metal or progressive death metal, where it's tried and true, and it's kind of like the one style. And it's like, it's a solid metal album. But then the Enterprise Earth, it had all of the different genres, and it was heavy, but it did other things. And again, when you talk about metal album of the year, I think that's kind of one of those considerations and for a lot of people is how many extra things does it do besides the metal? Because I love metal and I want it to be a metal album, but I want to have peaks and valleys. I want to have dynamics, and I want to have a little bit of infusion of other genres, whether it's jazz or blues or country. You talk about one of those local bands from Michigan, Shadow of the Talisman. They got that country rock metal thing going on with that, As Above, So Below. So anytime you got like an outside genre blended in, I'm a fan of that stuff. And I think Callous Daoboys do a great job of infusing all the different genres that they like and slapping them into a metal album. And album of the year, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven. Great song, great title of an album. And I say metal of the year. That's fine by me. I absolutely co-sign on that as well. For your sake, for everyone's sake. Great
Absolutely.
album. Okay. So, did you want to read other people's lists?
We're going to read some other lists
Let's plow through them, Aaron. If you guys gave us your list, we're going to read it now.
We're going to plow through them. So Seth from Recorruptor, Chat Pile and Hayden Pedigo in The Earth Again, highlighted songs of Matador, Radioactive Dreams, Dormant, Ordeal, Tooth and Nail, Orphans, Dust Crown for songs, Igor, Amen, Dead Hour Noise, Slow Burn, Callous Daoboys, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven, Whitechapel, Hymns of Dissonance, A Case of Strain, You Are Safe from God Here, sick-ass album. Hayden Pedigo, I'll Be Waving As You Drive Away, Sanguisugabogg, Hideous Aftermath, Imperial Triumphant, Gold Star, and he has a few honorable mentions, Scorching Tomb, which they have an album called Ossuary. It's actually Time to Kill artists, the same as they're on. And then there's a band called Agriculture. It's called The Spiritual Sound. I want to talk a little more about that when we get into this runner-up. Jesus, wow. But then some other honorable mentions thrown. That Who Sat Upon Him Was Death, which could be a top 10 album easy. Parasitic, Catetius. I didn't even know how you say that. And then 1914 Verbis Unitus. So then we got Luke, the homie Luke Fortin. He's got Combust, Belly of the Beast. That wasn't really for me. Turnstile, Never Enough, Sissy Boys, Let's Party, End It, Wrong Side of Heaven, Clips, Let God Sort 'Em Out, No Cure, I Hope I Die Here, Bad Beat album 2025. ASAP Rock, I heard it's a mess there too. Spirit Box, Tsunami Sea, Crush Your Soul, Living Gracious. So he just gave us his top 10, not necessarily metal.
Sure.
And I guess that's
yeah, but the No Cure, I fuck with that hard, and I absolutely did enjoy that Spirit Box album. I don't care what anybody says. I listened to it a couple of times, and it was undeniable to me. I thought it was a great album.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that too as well. Let's see, and then we got this is Perry from Mouthful of Locusts.
Okay,
and we got Underneath in the Shadow of the Watchtower, Recorruptor, Sour Will Drown Us All. Definitely top 10. Heavy, Heavy, Low, Low, Pain Olympics, Duck, Duck, Goose, Love Will Set You Free. Blindfolded and Led to the Woods. The hardest thing about being God is that no one believes me. Lucius Fox, Death and Life of the Great Lakes. What a fantastic
amazing album. Chat
Pile, Hayden Pedigo, In the Earth Again. I just haven't got on the Chat Pile train. I guess we're all on that. Bio Noise Generator, Subnormal Dives, Pigpen, Mental Madness, and Dead Guy Near Death Travel Services. So that's Perry. And then Dylan from No Suception. He has Revocation, New Gods, New Masters, Cryptopsy, and Insatiable Violence, Killswitch, The Consequence, Rivers of Nile, self-titled, Shadow of Intent, Imperium Delirium, Recorruptor, Sour Will Drown Us All, Cytotoxin, Biographite, Dormant Ordeal, Tooth and Nail, Throne, Those Who Sat Upon Him Was Death, and Whitechapel, Hymns of Dissonance. So
great list.
Kind of got some of the same ones.
Yeah, Dylan and I have some similar tastes for sure, and I absolutely love most of those albums. I've heard all of those albums. Great stuff.
Too. So I was trying to get Clint from Recorruptors in, but he's kind of been busy, and then he was going to kind of jump on with us, but
Clint?
I didn't see his message, so I was trying to get his too. But with that being said, man, you got anything else about your top 10 of the year?
I thought it was a sneaky great year for metal music. We didn't have some of the biggest names drop albums on us this year, but I thought for the bands that put out albums, they put out some really great albums. And again, my top 5, a lot of that progressive melodic death metal stuff, but in the front half when I had like the Spite and the Shadow of Intent. So we got some deathcore in there. We got just heavy for almost the sake of the heavy. So I just thought it was a great year for metal. I did catch on to some things late in the year. All you bands dropping albums late in the year, stop doing that to me. If you think you got a banger, put it out in January or March or something. No, I think just a great year for metal albums, and we'll talk more about some of these honorable mentions where I absolutely loved some of those as well. And
all the stuff from Michigan. I would put Throne, Recorruptor, Lucius Fox, any of those bands, I'd put them in the top 10 all day long, any day. I just was going for more just like bands that people knew. Yeah. As far, not that I don't want anybody to not know those bands, or talk about them. Well, but I'm just going from like kind of major.
Well, we're going to talk more about those bands anyway. Yeah. We're going to highlight anybody who's dropped an album, but I will say I was listening to the new Throne that Who Sat Upon Him Was Death recently, and
good.
Whatever I was doing, I kind of spaced out for a second, and I'm multitasking, and I came back to observing and being aware of the music, and I forgot I was listening to Throne. I just thought I was listening to something so fucking sick. I was like, what am I listening to right now? This is so goddamn good. I was like, I was tripping for a second. I was like, this might have to go in my top 10 this year. So yeah, a testament to their album and their work. And we're going to talk more about it in the next episode. But yeah, great album. And that's how good it is. It definitely could be a top 10 album of the year. We're going to represent and talk about all the homies from Michigan who've had come through the show or not even come through the show, but if they dropped an EP or an album, we're going to talk about it coming up here in a minute. So we're not done talking about Throne. We absolutely love them. They kill it. They kill it live. They kill it on stage.
Absolutely.
They kill it on the album. So really just anybody who did anything that dropped an album this year, love it. Happy to hear it. If I didn't say your favorite album this year, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Make sure I didn't miss it. And there might be some mentions in the honorable mentions.
Yeah, there might be some. We'll talk about. I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions, and I'll have a little blurb about all the albums I listen to, and that way maybe other people can find some new stuff that they missed. So we'll talk about that and all that in the next episode. So make sure you guys check that out. Stay tuned for that. It'll be out in a couple days after this one. So with that being said, much love. Metal. Peace. Thank you so much for checking out the episode. Be sure to hit that like button and give us a share.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed our podcast today, please give it a rating on your streaming service to help us gain some exposure.
And if you really enjoyed the show, please give us a follow or hit that subscribe button and come hang out with us every week. And remember, keep it metal.